can we do it like we do it?
Talk now. Can people hear you now?
Guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We'll wait for the chat.
Yeah, I want to wait for the chat.
Yes. Okay, wait. Yes, I think we're back. I think because we're connected under my mic. So anyway, you want to do it again? Just roll it again. Roll it again.
Oh my God, watch. Guys, I do this for a living. Can you like count me in? 3, 2, 1.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hi guys, welcome back. Happy Wednesday. We're back to recap the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And no, we don't have Ricky Cornish today because he is in Puerto Vallarta, and I am hoping that he is with Vicky Gunvalson at her condo. However, you guys have been asking for, this is so dumb. You guys have been asking for Jason.
Oh, Lord.
So you ask and you shall receive. And now we have Jason. So
yes,
I can't wait.
Can I just start off by saying we haven't recapped Salt Lake City together in over a year, maybe even longer than that, I think.
I think that you might have done 2 appearances last season, maybe?
I don't know about that.
No.
Maybe. I do have to say when we started recapping Salt Lake City, and it was so funny. When we were recapping
I can't.
When we were recapping Salt Lake City on season 1, season 2, sometimes it was so hard to get through an episode. And it's like, what do we talk about, right? Like everyone on season 1 who was on the cast was some kind of caricature of another housewife, right?
Yeah.
Now we're 4 seasons in. We're over halfway through the season, I think, now of Salt Lake City. And it's like all of these women have their footing. The ones who are the OGs, they have their everything. And now we have, Mary back, which is adding a lot of stuff to the show. A lot of
which, by the way, she
variety.
Looks like a complete disaster. You can't sit there and call somebody inbred, but then your son is out here getting DUI and drug possession charges.
Yeah.
Wait, no. I'm going to go in on this.
Okay.
I'm going to go in on this. You have to give me like a... Where do we start?
Well, we start with, now we also, on top of Mary Cosby, adding a whole bunch of crazy dimensions and variety. She has a variety show in her, by herself. But now we have the new housewife, Monica, who I'm not afraid to say, like, amazing.
Yeah.
Like really interesting, really fills those shoes, and not the shoes of Jen Shah, but kind of fills the void that was left when Jen Shah went to jail.
You know what's so funny about Monica, and I'm gonna give her grace on this because I saw her at the NBC party, right? She's sitting by herself. None of the other cast is talking to her. And I don't know what it is, guys. I asked her, I said, and this is me being vulnerable with you, and you could totally rip me on this. And Jason's probably going to be like, why do you say dumb shit? I can't help it. I asked her, I said, it's weird because sometimes I bond with the housewives that are the most hated. And Monica is the underdog of this season. Kelly Dodd, Jen
I don't think
Shah.
she's hated, though.
I think that she's celebrated because she is polarizing.
She's polarizing, but I think she's
hated by her cast.
She's the most relatable because
right.
I cannot relate. I can relate to certain things about Heather Gay.
I can't.
Just because, I was raised Jewish and Mormon.
Oh, yeah.
So I can relate to some of the stuff that I know, weird, long story. I've told it before. It's a weird family. But I can relate to some of those things, but relatability as a person, I can't relate to anybody on the show.
Yeah.
Like at all. I can't relate to whatever Angie K was wearing to that book thing, So it was crazy. But, I really wish that we could just talk to Monica for 2 seconds.
Okay. So since you asked for that, I feel like it's Christmas already. Guys, we don't have much time, but we are going to recap the entire episode. But we do have a very special guest who is coming to kind of kick us off. right? We
Get us
can't
off.
ask questions because there are a lot of logistics when it comes to being Bravo talent. So I know in the live chat, you guys are going to be like, ask about this and ask about that. That's not how this works. You have to get permission for everything. But we do have a special guest who we are going to bring on, and she is going to say hello. So if you're ready, will you just give me a thumbs up?
Hi.
Oh my god!
This is
hello.
fun. I didn't even know.
I love this.
I know. I'm in confessionals. We're like getting ready. I totally forgot.
What?
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
So we're like getting ready for confessionals.
Monica,
This is the
thank
best.
you.
Yes, of course. I love you guys so much. I cannot wait to watch this later. I am a huge, huge fan. This is like amazing. I'm like.
How did you know to
fangirling,
wear a
honestly.
hat?
I
black hat.
I made my freaking friend Angie give me his hat because I was like, oh no.
Well, actually, Monica asked me last night. She's like, "Is this audio or video?" And it's 10 a.m. over there, and I said it's video,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh shit!" And I
I
said,
know. I was
no.
like, oh god. And Adam's like, just throw on a cap. So
Yeah.
we're all matching.
We're all
in our
matching. This is
hats.
great.
Monica, before you end up going, because we know that you're busy with confessionals,
Yeah.
and I know that we can't talk about the show, but can I at least say how I met you really quick?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Best story ever. Yeah.
So I walked up to Monica at the NBC party on the first night of BravoCon, and it was after, guys, I shared the ambush moment, which you guys, if you didn't hear it, you'll hear it later. But I walked over to Monica because I was like, with Heather Gay, Lisa Barlow, Angie K, I'm done. Like, I'm good. And Whitney, I love, and Meredith
Love
too.
Whitney.
I walked
Love
over to
Meredith.
Monica and I was like, "Hi, Monica. I just want to introduce myself." And she's like, "I thought you hated me." And I was like, "Oh shit." I'm
Yeah.
like,
Right out the gate. He was like, can we talk? And I was like, yes, I would love to talk about how you hate me.
and I was like, "I don't at all."
no. And now we just love each other. Instant buddies.
It's so funny because now I think that we talk more. Well, we never talked before that, but now
I know.
now I'm like, if you want to come, like go out jet ski in Florida or come to Hilton Head,
Yeah.
like I know that you have 4 babies.
I'm staying with you guys.
Yes,
Absolutely.
we're stealing you
Yeah.
You're
away.
welcome.
I can't wait.
Wow. We know that you're doing confessionals, and for you to just even pop in, it's so sweet of you. And I know that you have to get in that Zen mode of just being super shady and doing all of the things.
Yeah.
Wait, can you give us one little, did we get an outfit change in confessionals?
Yes, we
Okay,
do.
okay.
Yay. Yes.
Okay. So we
gonna
get an
second
outfit
one.
change in confessionals, and we'll leave it at
Yes.
that, guys. We can't give
Yes.
away too much, but Monica, go get in your whatever you have to do mentally for
know.
the confessionals and go
Thank
rip some
you.
ass, and we can't wait to see it.
I love you guys so much. Thank you.
All right,
Thanks for
we'll talk to you
thanks for
soon.
jumping on.
Right.
Bye, Monica. Do you
She's
see what I
great.
mean about relatable? I was just saying this, right?
Yeah.
Just so easy to talk to in conversation. And I do really think that she is a good addition to the show.
No,
Like
honestly,
probably the best addition. Like I said, she's not filling the shoes of Jen Shaw. You can't do that. But she's filling the void of energy that was kind of left behind that, we needed this season.
you know what the difference is, and one of the things that I caught so much shit on, and I apologize, guys. I have a sailor's mouth today, but
It's because I'm here.
maybe. My dad said to me yesterday in our video that he's like, "You said the F-bomb at least 10 times," and I was like, "No, I didn't."
Oh.
And he said Jason did.
I mean, on Anchor Watch, we're really bad about that, but
Are
we
you?
haven't been demonetized for that.
Well, I think for Jen Shaw, one of like the things is she was such a powerful presence, and that she was very overwhelming in the sense that she would take up a whole room, like almost like a balloon. Like if you put a balloon inside of a box and you kept pumping helium into it and it took up the whole box. Whereas I think that Monica, and this is not a diss on Jen Shaw, we had a great connection with Jen Shaw despite everything that happened. I think for Monica, she does allow room for other people to have an input and to have rebuttal. And she opens that up for the rebuttal. And I know that people want to hate her so bad, which is very interesting.
Any new addition to a franchise, if there's like one little thing, and then you have all of these rumors coming out too, and accusations and stuff like that, and people want to find a reason to not like somebody now. I mean, we just talked about this yesterday when we did a video. They want to find a reason or dig the skeletons out of the closet because the skeletons are going to come out. But she came on the show and she said, yeah, I was excommunicated. I slept with someone, whatever. This is my mom. We have issues. It's like, you're just pushing the skeletons out right at the beginning, which a lot of them don't do.
Right.
You know?
And I have to add to this really quick. I brought up this comment really quick. Shallow fat girl with a P said, dude, she is using you for your platform. Nobody is using me for my platform. She didn't ask me to come on. I asked her to come on.
And it was a hello. We're not interviewing anyone.
Nobody. I mean, Jesus, like,
yeah,
I can't do these days.
Anything right.
I can't do anything right. But one thing I have to give to Monica was Monica came on in a way where most people as fans, we are watching the Bravo Housewives, and I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's ass, but we are watching the Bravo Housewives for the opulent lifestyles because we all know, the majority of us, what it's like to have the friends who are struggling to pay the rent and the mortgages and to pay the car notes and all of that. And I get that, guys. Jason and I are very much so there with the majority of people. So I understand what we're trying to watch for, but she came in still polarizing in a way that someone like Leah McSweeney from the Real Housewives of New York was not able to do, because Leah McSweeney came in very much so your average Joe or Jeanette or whatever you want to call it.
It's just,
and she didn't accomplish this.
No, because I don't know what was going on with Leah McSweeney. I was never.
She was boring.
It just didn't work. I mean, this is why they rebranded, the recast, New York. But if anything is polarizing, I just want to ask the live chat what we thought about Angie K's outfit to Heather's Bad Mormon event. I was like, what kind of safari did you just get dropped off from, really? And I like Angie. I met her. She was nice. But like, holy hell. Like when she walked in, I was like, she's fashionable. Usually we see her in like,
did you not think that was fashionable?
No, hell no. It looked
wearing...
like a party to go, like threw up on her.
Listen, I am fashion police over here in my horrible human merch, which you guys can
Hey, black
check
is
out.
always in fashion. All right. So that's okay. We can get away with that. But it was crazy.
Guys, so getting back to it, I think that there are different housewives who navigate things differently. And I think that for Leah McSweeney, and I understand, and she went on a sobriety journey. She heavily focused and leaned into alcohol in order to have the tiki throwing.
As many of the women did on New York, especially New York, though.
Right.
Especially.
Sonia Morgan, Luann Deliceps, Ramona. I mean, you can go down
Dorinda.
The line. Kelly Ben-Simone.
Yeah. I
Dorinda.
think every scene of Dorinda that is like on the hit, like the best moments of New York, it's Dorinda trashed,
So
clip.
Let's talk about this for a second, because I'm going to bring up a photo. What are your thoughts when it comes to Monica and her mom being on TV? Because originally Monica shared with us, and I just brought up the photo for 2 seconds, guys. Go ahead, smash that like button, show some love. But I brought up the photo because we all love a good Housewives mother on the show. Candy Burris's mom has been literally the staple for this. She has been so amazing. Candace Diller Bassett's mom, incredible. Tinsley Mortimer's mom, also great. Like when we get a good mom, we're like, oof. But now we're seeing a sort of disconnect, and people are trying to choose a side and be divided on this. And what I think is so powerful about this is that the mom and the daughter, whether you go on social media or not, they are not holding back from how they feel with the cameras around. It's not we're putting on a show.
Which is more relatable. We all have issues with certain people in our family. You and I have very close relationships with our moms. Some people
I love my mom.
I know, but some people have a tumultuous relationship with their parental figure. I thought it was interesting, the stuff that they're willing to share. And, I did see a comment too, like, she made her mom walk home. And then someone said, I don't think she made her mom walk. I don't think so either. I think when the cameras were dropped, someone was driven home. Like, this is a show. But just to see the dynamic and to be so open about, her mom saying, I think we should try therapy. I think we should do this. And she's like, we have tried therapy over and over and over again. And maybe there's not enough times, or maybe the right stuff didn't come out. But just to be open about that, I would never. Like, I would Never.
I want to say, as somebody who doesn't have a dog in this fight, since we are talking about Monica specifically in this moment, which I guess we'll get through Monica first and we'll go to the rest of the women.
Yeah.
For Monica and watching her mom, you took the car for 3 weeks. You left her without a car with her 4 daughters, right? And this was a control tactic, which was very obvious. But then, you know, maybe it wasn't, maybe it was, but that's what we get to see on the show, and that's editing. But what's not editing is the behavioral patterns that you see after the show and the actions, and actions speak louder than words. So once you start taking to social media and you are now completely dismantling your daughter and ripping her, this is not, I understand it's the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and she asked you to be a part of it, but now it almost seems as if, and no disrespect to Monica's mom, Linda, I think that she seems really great and I think she's great for the show. And I wish that they could get on the same, you know, playing field. But I think that Linda has now stepped in as an honorary snowflake holder. And I think that's the discrepancy here, is that there is, it's almost like, let me just say really quick, for Jason and I didn't meet Jason when he was the star of Cirque du Soleil and performing for the Queen and hosting shows at George Clooney's. And I didn't meet him for all of that. But then after we met, going through the pandemic, I started the YouTube channel and Jason and I started working together. And a lot of people felt like there was a problem with that because it's up and Adam. It's not up and Adam and Jason, but Jason is so much like, he is so important to this, right? And to the running of it, just like Linda is important to Monica's storyline.
And just like Antonio is important to helping Meredith and Seth set up their damn technology to do a podcast.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I think that we just have to kind of all understand and recognize the role and then be in unison. And these are conversations that we need to have not in front of public forums. Because when you do, you start getting pit against each other, and it's so easy because then you're letting the fans in and they have an opinion and they're like, you shouldn't let your daughter speak to you like that. And it's like, no, you have to understand this is like what we agreed on.
This was the show. Yeah. This is, you decided to put it out there. You decided to be vulnerable and let those moments out there. And yeah, that's what it is. It's interesting though, because she actually has like kind of another sideline storyline happening, you know, whereas like, so some of the other ladies right now are a bit, I don't know, on my nerves, actually. I just caught up on Salt Lake so I could do this recap. And
so who's on your nerves?
Oh, man, I don't want to say
No,
this.
Go ahead, say it. I mean, at this point, Jason,
okay,
Jesus.
Listen, Lisa Barlow.
Oh, God.
Who I really, really liked.
This is not a mimosa. I should have had a mimosa for this shit.
No, I'm just saying, like, there was the moment at the beginning where I agreed with Whitney. It's, you cannot really communicate with Lisa. It's almost like she doesn't listen. She wants to do the kind of the LA talk. Like, oh my God, it's I love that. This is so amazing. Oh my gosh. And then walks out your door and is like, oh, babe, this is like the worst conversation I ever had. You know what I mean? Yeah. I hate that. I can't stand that. And I don't know if Lisa just doesn't know how to drop it or if that's just how she communicates with people. But you fast forward to the very end where Angie is trying to have a conversation with Lisa and just kind of throw out there some things, and Lisa's not having it. Like, so Whitney was right that you can't really communicate with Lisa because she's going to make it personal and not be able to have the conversation.
Well, first of all, can I say really quick, the way that, and this is from personal experience of my communication with Lisa Barlow, who I thought, to be honest with you guys, when I went to do the Jen Shah interview, no one from the cast knew what I was doing. People knew I was in town. I shared that I was in town. I tried to go to dinners. I went to dinner with Meredith. Meredith asked me, who am I interviewing? And I said, not a chance. I'm not sharing anything with you. Whitney asked me the same thing. She had COVID at the time, I believe. And then Lisa Barlow had her assistant bring us 2 bottles of Vita tequila.
Yeah, no, very generous.
And the Blanco. So sweet.
Yeah.
But then meeting her in person, it was a totally different interaction.
She's also been on the channel where we actually talked about Vita Tequila.
Yeah.
And the whole decade it took to create this brand and make. And I asked her, like, because
I respect.
I did ask her, like, it's very hard to find unless you're in Utah or Park City or at a Vita Tequila event. It is not the easiest to find.
Yeah. But then looking at her like face to face and having a conversation, I could see just being someone who has been conditioned in LA and like knowing how this works. I don't do well with like the fakery stuff. And I'm not calling Lisa fake, but for example, we were at BravoCon and we had instances with other people where it's like, hi babe, how are you? And I can't do that. I'm just like, you don't like me. I understand.
We don't have to. It's okay.
It's okay. We
fine.
don't have, there are 8,500 people in this room. I am not one of them that you have to talk to. You can just please, like at this point, we can keep it moving. And for that moment with Lisa Barlow, I was asked about a certain thing regarding Monica and I answered it. And I don't think that they were happy about it. But for Lisa, I can see where she is sort of the one who dictates how, in her mind, if she doesn't have control over how the conversation is going to go, she is not going to leave the conversation happy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think she needs, it's funny because there's something so similar about Heather and Lisa too. It's, you know, Heather, I thought was a great moment too, where she shared that she feels like she needs to be validated. And I feel like that is the same when it goes for Lisa too. She needs to be validated. You're a good person. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Oh my God. Like it needs to be consistent. If it's not consistent, I feel like you lose the steam in the steam engine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. I thought it was so funny though. I know there's a lot of like back and forth on Mary and what people think about her on the show. I think she adds a whole different dimension. I think she is like I said earlier, a variety show by herself.
I think that
her house is Willy Wonka. It is crazy, just like Heather said.
I think that she raised a son with a really stupid mentality.
Well, that's yeah,
but
that hasn't been shown on the show. So,
but it has come out. So we have to talk about that for a second.
That's insane.
You're going to go on social media, post with your full tongue out, with multiple pills in your mouth, holding big bags of marijuana, right? After a 2020 like pullover DUI and drug possession charge. And then you post this after, wait a minute, your underage girlfriend, you move into the house, into the West Wing because we live in a mansion. And I get that. Grandma left a mansion. Understand.
She lived at Chocolate Factory.
Totally.
Chocolate Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That's exactly, Heather described it the right way.
She did. And I felt like watching it. So you almost get your mom in trouble because she was brought into court based off of this underage girl living there, and her mom was pissed. Then you end up marrying the girl after she turns 18. Then you end up bringing drugs around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say into the house. I don't know. So I can't speak on that.
We haven't seen it, yeah.
Right? But then you get pulled over. And then you post on social media what you're doing. Where is the disconnect? And why is Mary Cosby not speaking on this? Like, hey, this is something that I don't stand behind. But then Mary Cosby is so good at being like, I don't know what's going on. This is Belinda. Belinda has worked for me for 20 years. She's my cousin. I don't know her. I don't know her husband's name. I don't know shit about her. And it's almost like you think it's cute to kind of sell it that way, right?
Yeah.
But it's not cute. It's actually just ignorant. It's mean. Like if I had somebody working, what? Like if you had somebody working for you for 20 years, don't you think that you would know
that they're
more
your
than their
cousin?
name?
Yeah.
Well, and like
you
their
might put
husband,
their family.
Are you sending them Christmas presents? Do you not care? Do you?
It's interesting.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's very interesting. I don't know what that mindset is. But then we really don't know with Mary. She's not confusing. I think she's just, I don't think she can articulate some things that she is trying to say. I know, but I was just watching the whole conversation between her and Heather, and I understood it, right? Like, because she's said we connect on a spiritual level.
But I think you look inbred.
That was okay. That's not the first time she said that, by the way.
Okay, no. This goes back to, you don't get to be the villain and the victim.
Well, I was just going to say this because I kind of feel that way about Mary, and I also kind of feel that way about Heather, because she wants everything from the church that she used to have that she doesn't have anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And her way of dealing with it is writing this book. And then I think what's happening with Heather too, and I'm sorry I'm jumping around here because I was watching this episode and she wants everyone to read this book. No one's read the damn book in the cast, right? They only read the parts that was written about them, which probably I would start with. But if I was a friend, I'd read the whole thing. But I felt like the conversation started to go well between Heather and Mary. And then it just kind of like, I think Heather at one point realized like, this is going nowhere.
Yeah.
So you just have to sit back, let Mary say her piece and move on.
No, I find that to be so, You know what's so funny is Jen Shah, when we had the interview with her, Jen Shah said that Mary Cosby was such great reality TV. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And she like really applauded her and said that the show needs her. And then as soon as Jen Shah went to prison, Mary Cosby was like, hate the bitch. So happy she's gone.
Right.
I knew she was guilty. And it was wild to see two totally different like perspectives on this. But for the Heather Gay thing, you cannot look at somebody in the face. Like, if I look at you, and Andy Cohen just said that he was disappointed with Jennifer Aiden for fat shaming someone on the BravoCon panel. So that is calling somebody a big boy who is a woman. You are calling someone literally inbred, which means that somebody in your family shared sexual relations with somebody in your family, and then they made you
like someone like a cousin or maybe even
a brother and a sister or a mom and a dad, like wild, and they made you, and you have some sort of, is it deformity?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
that's way worse than fat shaming. But then you get away with it. And imagine if somebody said to Mary Cosby, "You look inbred."
That would not go. Okay, so
they would be canceled.
I understand your point, but it is interesting that Mary has not learned a lesson from like back when her and Jenny were going back and forth, or back when she made a lot of comments, that were just as racially.
I think that she's just as bad as Jenny. I think that they're terrible.
Now I get your point, and I'm seeing that. I love her comedic relief, that she added to the first few episodes. But I'm seeing what you're saying now. Like I get it, and you can't continue.
It's not comedic relief when it's at the expense of everybody else around you.
They left it in. These editors left this in
because they're okay. So they're working with the content. I was going to say their asses, but I'm not going to say that. They have a job to do, and they're doing it really well. But with her, she is saying things at the expense of other people, right? And they are leaving it in because it's comedic relief. That's what we're calling it. But if they said that to her, if you looked at Mary Cosby and said, "You look inbred," it would be an HR issue.
Yeah.
It would be a racist issue. It would be such a bigger issue.
That's true.
Because that would be so, and that's exactly in her issues with Jenny Wynn, why she didn't go to the reunion was because she felt like Jenny Wynn was a racist. And I totally understand. And I agreed with what she was saying.
Right,
and she made the right call. But in this situation, you are now saying somebody's you can't, I'm saying that words have consequences, and they also affect people's feelings and their emotions. And you can't just get away because you feel like you're protected to say anything that you want.
I wonder what effect or consequences this has had on her church. I mean, we haven't seen her, so far. I know she's just a friend of, but kind of like around her church anymore. Her church closed.
I think it's visited. Yeah.
So like, where is that? And then when you're a follower of said church that maybe exists or not exists anymore, I have no idea.
I don't know.
How do you watch like your preacher or your pastor or whatever they call it there? And, how do you watch them? Like if I were to watch my bishop or a rabbi and he's like using these words inbred and saying these things, I'm like, you're supposed to be teaching us and being an example of how to live your life through God. And so sometimes it just seems a little hypocritical, as funny as it can be and as bad as it can be, it is very hypocritical being, a church.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And I think what we're doing now at this point is we are accepting the fact that because Mary is this beautiful woman and she represents, the Black community, and she is amazing and she is so funny and comedic relief.
Well, I don't think she represents the Black community.
Well, she does. She
does. By her skin color, but I don't think
she will say
she says represents.
I'm going off of what she's saying that she does.
Right.
I'm not going off of what I'm saying she does. I'm saying she says that she represents, right? So, and that's okay. But I'm saying then there are certain things that it doesn't give you a pass to be so mean. And there are other people like Heather Gay's kids who will now see that you said that she looks inbred and now their mom looks inbred and that she is fat and that she looks like this. And you're saying all of these things. You don't get a pass to be nasty. Nobody should get a pass.
That's true.
Doesn't matter if you are struggling with handicap or anything. We should not normalize being nasty.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I'm saying there are moments at the beginning of this season where she was funny and comedic, but I think maybe what's happening is that in Bravo and maybe the editors are like, this is just, we brought her back so people could say Mary's back. Now we have Monica. I'm sure they're going to cast around Monica for next season if they need a friend of. I mean, Monica needs someone on her side if no one else is talking to her, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be some kind of middle person. I think Angie is kind of that person in the moment right now, you know, as a kind of in between. But you do need someone to have to carry on the show, because if people like Monica on the show, which a lot of people do, there are some people I've seen that don't, but a majority of the people do. We have to have a show next season, so there will be someone coming on the show to also jump in and be that support and be that extra person.
Can I say too, I think that the award for like the most growth as far as like being in a housewife or friend role position probably does go to Angie Katzenebas, because last year I think that she was a doormat, and I said that to her at Teddy and Tamara's. Remember?
You said that? No, I wasn't with you.
You were with
I mean,
me.
I was there, but I was talking to Kate Chastain.
Oh, yeah. I told her. I said, I think that, you know, like we as fans thought you were a doormat, and I do a lot of R&D for the show, and that we talk about it. So I am taking the voice of the people, and I'm sharing it.
When we first met her and the Coach Shaw party happened, I thought she was legitimately kind of like what we like to see. Like you said at the beginning, the opulence, the housewives that we like to see. She has the house, she has the view, you know, she's kind of interesting. Not really that first season. I find her more interesting now. I didn't find that outfit interesting at the Heather Gay book thing. I'm sorry, that needs to be, I'd go back wherever it came from. It was horrific. It really was horrific.
I know.
It was not cute.
I know, but
we've seen a lot of, I'm not happy about it. I mean, I don't have to. I guess it's subjective.
I'm wearing a hoodie. Why are you not rip me apart? Leave her alone.
No, it's just the outfit. I like her. She's a beautiful woman, and she is fashionable. She has the fashions. We've seen it.
And
this was
tiny.
Not one of them.
And she's little.
Yeah.
I love how you just like, you got quiet. You're like, yeah. But what I was going to say is the growth. And I feel like for the first season with having Jen Chong coming under that umbrella, that is a hard presence to come into, and like you can't match that energy
because she came on as Jen's friend,
and Jen I think sort of suppressed a certain part of Angie, and then I think that like every housewife or friend of goes throughout the seasons, they are coached by production, and if you want to continue on and you want longevity on this platform, then you have to step it up, and they are coached in the sense that they are told, but they're not told what to say, but they are told if this is the game, get better at it.
Yeah, if they need to be, it's like, hey, you know, like this season, or this is how it's going. Not, you know, they do get a little like nudge, but I don't think many of them have to be, because I think many of them try to produce the show themselves. Yeah, i.e. Lisa Barlow at times.
Yeah. But I was gonna say really quick, her coming into this season, I think that she's really stepped it up, and I can't wait to see her third season, because I think that at that point her give-a-dams are going to be out the window, and she's going to be like, I don't give a shit.
She's not going anywhere. I don't see her going anywhere. I think she should not go anywhere. Yep. I think she's safe. I think Whitney is also.
Angie Harrington was boring. That's why she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she wanted to give as much of her life either.
And Jenny Wynn too. I'm happy that she's gone.
That was a wrong casting decision. We all know that now.
She was a terrible casting decision.
She didn't fit in the cast, and then with her comments on top of that, and then her trying to what is that? What do you do after something goes wrong? What is it called? You know, like if a politician has a flub, they really quickly try to fix it. What is that called? Oh, come on, I don't know. Maybe someone in live chat. Like the kind of the emergency response to her comments. She did
crisis.
Yes, thank you. Crisis management. Yeah. So her crisis management was to have one of her black friends on, a black gay friend, just to make it okay that she said that. She's like, look, I have a black gay friend. They're like, that doesn't make it better. That doesn't make any of your comments better. So I think it was a poor casting decision. It was a really
but then
poor
also
crisis management.
After that, when she showed up to, I think it was either Whitney's or somebody's event
and took a photo with her.
Oh yeah, and took a photo with her, and then went on video, and she's like, I just want to let all of you know, if you don't like it, you can fuck off, and you can, and it's like, this is so aggressive And nobody asked for that. And you don't have to be, you are a mom and a wife, and I get it. It's like nobody is writing the guidelines of how to act as a perfect person.
Right.
I'm guilty of it. Jason's guilty of it. I think everybody watching, we have had moments. But for you to have a calculated moment where you get the opportunity to pre-record yourself, it's not like a flub in public. You are literally recording yourself and deciding, is this the right video that I want to put on the internet? And then you put it on there.
Let me look back in my Photos app and just see, oh yeah, this was good. When I said, fuck off, I should post that right now.
And go
yes, damage control, guys. Thank you so much. My brain is like halfway fried. I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
He wasn't.
So
it was supposed to be Ricky, but Ricky is partying with Vicky.
Well, we hope so.
He's not, but I'm just.
We don't know that. We don't know that Ricky's life or what Ricky is doing in Puerto Vallarta.
What did you think? I wanted to ask about this.
Okay.
So I brought up a photo. What did you think about the moment where Whitney kind of corrected Lisa and said, my kids, you're in my home, and my kids don't hear things like this? And she was like, Lisa was kind of annoyed by it, but Whitney was like, this is how I run my house.
But I've seen Lisa do this to other people as well. I've seen them correct, at her events and stuff like that. When you're in someone's home, you can't act like that. You really can't. And Lisa's response of, to make your guests feel comfortable, that's also something that we try to do when we have friends and stuff like that. But that's different. If you're losing your shit in the middle of the kitchen and you have your kids around, it's like, can we bring it down a notch? And then I thought it was annoying for a minute, but then I got where Whitney was coming from, that she kept repeating herself. She kept going and not letting Lisa talk. But the problem is Lisa doesn't listen. So, and then she starts to say, okay. And she gets it. But I think Whitney needed to keep repeating and to get her message through a little bit,
I think if I said a Taco Bell Grande chicken and cheese quesadilla, then I would be speaking Lisa's language.
Exactly.
But I think in this moment, you're saying, well, also how to, treat your guest.
Yeah.
I think that Whitney made a great decision deciphering between the two, which one takes the precedent, which would be in this particular moment, her children who are not used to this sort of behavior and this kind of language. And she's like, my kids are not used to that. This is making them alarmed. And then she's like, you need to know how to treat your guests. And she's like, no, bitch.
Whitney's, kids or daughter specifically has been, has heard things when Mary was at the house, just saying crazy shit. Remember when she was like,
but she also said this season that her daughter's still scarred from this.
I know. So this is exactly from Whitney's perspective, getting Lisa to be quiet. Don't do this in my house because the kids are around. They're already scarred. My daughter's scarred from Mary and all of her bedtime stories she was trying to tell about an accident and someone going through a windshield, and then the car blew up, and then the mountain fell down, and there was an avalanche, and then the sky is falling. It's just, I get it. I get where Whitney's coming from. I thought that was okay. And I really do. I like people to feel comfortable in my home too. The more comfortable people and guests feel in my home, the more happy I am. But this instant, if you're yelling, in fact, we actually had an instance with family when we first moved into a place where certain families or certain members of our family were arguing, and we actually asked them to leave. Huh? Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't need to tell everyone that.
No, I'm asking.
But we asked them to please leave because we have neighbors, it's loud, just stuff like that. We were in a smaller place, and you know what I mean? Like, so
it was
I understand.
That is true. That is true. That did happen. But T-Ball, thank you. Awesome show, guys. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you.
And for Whitney, I get it that Whitney has been the catalyst. I see the live chat where people are saying Whitney has been the catalyst in other arguments and fights.
For sure.
And again, it kind of, it's like a ping pong match, guys. This is it ping pong?
Ping, P-I-N-G.
Ping
pong.
Pong?
P-O-N-G.
Ping pong match.
Ping pong.
Okay, stupid question. I'm new here. Do you hit like when you're on the chat? Yes, of course you do.
Oh my God, please hit like. It
Jason's
helps us out
weather
a lot, guys.
Forecast. But what I was going to say for Whitney is, yes, there are moments where she is shady and shitty to the other women, and we've seen this, but she is keeping the storylines going, showing up to Palm Springs with Angie K, but then also being in your own house and saying that, please keep your voice down. I get it where we can argue this all day, but I'm saying so isolated.
Joanne actually in the live chat brought up a really good point.
What?
Events versus home.
Yeah.
Well, you can do this at events.
Yeah.
Right. You can yell at the sound bath, but you can't do it in the house.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm glad that was made very clear.
I mean,
I agree with that comment.
Also, too, And like Jason said, we kicked out family. Like legitimately.
Well, we didn't kick out. We
I
just
kicked
asked,
out family.
Please leave.
No, you didn't do anything. I said, get out of my house. And it was a group of people. And I said, okay, it's time to go. We are done. But also I think that if you're at an event, like what Joanne just said, if you're at an event, I think it's a little bit different. You're in an open forum, an open space, and you have that opportunity. I don't think that anybody invites anyone to their home with the goal of trying to kick them out. I feel like if you do, you're just an asshole.
You wouldn't invite them in the first place, I would think.
You wouldn't invite them in the first place. But I think if it gets to that point, that's obviously a really, really bad point where you are now pushing the limits. And if you have to sort of take that step, it doesn't make you feel good as the person who is trying to ask the people to leave. This is not something that you purposely wanted to do. So for Whitney, she didn't ask Lisa Barlow to go, but she did ask, can you please tone this down a little bit? I understand that there is camera crew A and camera crew B around. There are 3 cameras. There are 2 audio people. There is a producer behind the wall with an iPad. I get it. Lower your tone. My kids are nervous and they're not used to this energy. Fair. All right.
What are we moving on to now?
I mean, so now I wanted to ask you, before we end up kind of like taking this down, what were your thoughts about Meredith and Seth doing the podcast together?
Okay. So we know Antonio, and it was fun to see him.
Antonio.
It was fun to see him on screen. But it is so funny because I can't even tell you when we started a YouTube channel or a podcast or anything else, how many times we didn't push record, how many times we didn't know what the hell we were doing with mics and cameras and lighting and everything, right? So I understand it's so funny because someone like Meredith, like she just doesn't have time for it, right? She's like, okay, I just push this, do this, I join this. You know, she has to be told like the steps. And this is so funny because she were actually in that moment reminded me of you. I was like, because you always call me down from like the office and you're like, Jason, this isn't connected. And it's like
3 times a day.
You didn't turn it on. You just have to push on or restart. Restart is everyone's best friend.
But I'm also not tech savvy. And so there's 3 times a day where I'm like, Jason. And Jason just updated the software and I didn't know what my mic was called because it was labeled as this to now this new label. And I said, my mic is down. My camera is down. I don't understand. And he's like, it's A and B and you're welcome. And I'm also watching TV and don't bother me again. I'm working from my computer.
iPhones were made for you and my mom.
Yeah.
No, I actually really enjoy their vulnerability. They've been pretty open, especially when they've had problems in their relationship and their marriage. And I think any relationship or marriage goes through rocky roads.
Yeah.
But the fact that, you know, they're willing to sit there on a podcast and talk about it, I was like, wow, I would never share any of that shit. But
I love that they got so deep too. And like, they got like, it was like it's like me and you right now. And it's like, we get emotional and we have a moment and then we're like, oh wait, did this?
Didn't, you know, we've done that before. We've recorded an entire podcast episode without audio.
Yeah.
We've done that.
Yeah.
So it does happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it was for the camera.
Ebony Dick said, give us a live Q&A. Not today. But I think that we covered the majority of it besides Heather Gay's book
besides the book
situation.
thing. And, you know, I've already talked about thing. What did you think about Lisa's rap? And Away in a Manger. Do you think this was like the way to open the...
I think it's a gitchy bullshit thing that they're doing because it's like they think it's cute and it's funny.
A manger.
I mean, if you want bad singing, then let me sing. Just hire me, pay me, I will sing.
I think too, the Away in a Manger thing is so season 3. And I think everyone who was at the book event was like over it. And then when we get into when we got into the rap,
laughing, I was like, no, you're not.
Angie was laughing too. I would have been laughing my ass off. I'm like, this is serious.
They were serious.
They were serious. It was funny.
They were
No.
it.
Lisa was serious too. She's like, let me.
And she
guys.
does it. And she's like, away in a
No. It's like, it used to be flat. It's like she kind of has worked on this. You know, it used to be like very like flat.
Oh, was it?
And now it's like, she's like almost there. Yeah.
She's elevated it?
She's elevated Away in a Manger.
Oh, God. Okay, my point is
not the song. She
I
ruined
can't
the song.
sing, and bad talent skills when it comes to singing recognizes bad talent skills. And I thought that this was a gitchy thing that Heather wanted because they were on the show and they're doing this. But if you are a fan of the show and you have been a fan of the show for Bravo Housewives for a long time, then you see through it and you think that it looks silly. If you're maybe a new fan, you're like, oh my God, this is fun. I think it plays to different audiences.
Sure.
For me, I thought it was dumb because you could have had so many better openers, so many, like, you know what I mean? There's a variety.
For sure.
Do a drag show. Bad Mormon, let's do a drag show.
Yeah, or I do whatever. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was interesting. You know, I do have to say, I really understand where Heather is coming from on some of her moments of being vulnerable about the church and about her experience in the church. And I understand how Heather doesn't realize how Lisa lives as a Mormon. And Mormons have a name for this. It's called Jack Mormon. It's like, Jesus. There's no Orthodox or unorthodox Mormon. That's just not how it is. There's a Jack Mormon where they not necessarily will follow certain things that the church has put in place. Yeah. And that's okay. I have friends who were raised differently in both the faiths I was raised within. Some are a little more strict than others. And for her, she has a different experience. And I'm glad that Heather finally realized, you know, my experience is going to be very different than Lisa and what Jack is doing by going on a mission. He made that decision himself. If that's what he wants to do, he needs to figure that out for himself. You know, my brother went on a mission, and some of my friends did and chose not to California. Mm-hmm. And for my brother, what I've gotten from his experience of doing that is that he had a lot of discipline and he had one of the best times of his life. Now I've had friends who were raised in the church who have gone on missions and come home and be like, I'm done. I'm not going to church anymore. I'm not part of this. I'm going to go inactive and go somewhere else. So it's interesting that everybody, and this is not pertaining strictly to Mormonism, any religion, mm-hmm. you know, people have different experiences with. Yeah. And I wasn't, thank God I wasn't raised like that, like with a strict religious background. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it can drive you away from some of the rules and some of the pressures that your family can give you, or that the church or certain religions can give you. It pushes you away from the beauty that actually can be in religion, you know?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I'm not a Jack Mormon. I'm a Jew Mormon.
Oh God. I don't even know what that means. Guys, I think Ebony, I see that you're asking and you are sending all the super chats, and thank you. We are not doing a live Q&A right now. And I asked you, you're saying be dramatic. I asked you, I gave you the opportunity to ask the question in the live chat. I am not bringing somebody up to ask a question right now, just because we are pressed for time. But later this week, we have tomorrow, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with Kiki from The Talk of Shame. And then on Friday, it's either Emily D. Baker or Bravo Breaking News. I just have to check my calendar, but we are doing a lot of different lives this week. So stay tuned, and we will definitely bring you up, Ebony. I miss you, and I miss having live callers. Otherwise, do you think that
we should do a live call show one day?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, but the thing is right now, guys, you don't understand. Right now, it might look like we have our shit together. Thank you, Ebony. That was also very sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
It looks like we have our shit together. If you saw our house, like, we have so much to get off here and go do. Our house is in disarray, and we have a freaking Christmas tree up.
We have so much family is coming in the next few weeks.
Yes.
Starting right after Thanksgiving all the way through New Year's, where this house is going to be packed with people. Yeah. So we're trying to get everything out of the way, especially before we head off to London, which we're going to do a really fun live in London, by the way.
JLo5 said, Jason is so interesting.
Oh, hey, thank you. Thank you. Sometimes
live call show. Yes, that's so cool. I'm ready for Ebony. Ebony Dix members only. Yes, that's what we should
do. A members only Q&A. I think.
Call. Yeah,
I think too.
That's better.
Yeah, because our members are awesome. The subscribers on this community, the members that we have, are just, it's so fun. We used to sit on live for like 3 hours and just have conversations.
Well, let's do that. Maybe we'll do that this weekend, and we'll post to the community tab, guys, so that way you can keep up with what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I think that would be something that would be amazing to post potentially this weekend, if not at the beginning of next week. We'll get with you guys. However, I feel like we covered everything.
Hey, Kay, thank you so much.
Oh my God. Gifted up.
That is so sweet.
Wow. Guys, you're very sweet. How do you join members only?
So how do you join members only?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to the main page on Up and Adam, like our channel page, there's a place that will say join, and right under this video, right down, it should also say join, and there next to subscribe, and you can go and join the members. It's $2.99 a month. We try to do as much as possible. We have a lot coming up for members, so
a lot. So we're going, just to give you guys an idea, we're going to London for a mom's trip for Christmas, but we're meeting up with another content creator. And then in January, we might be going to Australia for some sort of February for a tour situation. And LA, we have to go to, or in LA, in January, we have to go to LA. I see what I'm saying. Like,
there's so much going on.
I'm trying to keep up at this point, but hey, listen, I have other content that I'm going to be posting throughout the day. So we love you guys so much. Please make sure, if you guys haven't, with over 340 in the room, go check out our podcast too. If you haven't left a review or a rating, please go drop one. We are trying to hit 1,000 on the ratings, and all of the support means everything. And you guys are so amazing in the live chat. And with 340 of you in the live chat, if all of you guys go right now and drop a rating, then we will hit the 1,000. So please. And from there, I think just wait about 30 minutes and then I'll have the next video posted for you. And then we can just talk some shit in the comments. But we love you guys. Anything? And we'll see you next time. Bye guys.
Everyone.